Alright guys, so what I've got done from last video to now, as we all know, we already did the connecting of the two halves together. That's all done. I did go back over my welds like I told you I would. See if you could see them. Just like I said I would. I mean, I'm not good at welding, so my welds look like shit, but you know what? I don't care, because this is going to hold up, and as long as it holds up, that's all I care about. We made our S brackets in the back. All we need to do is drill them out so we can apply that bolt. So instead of that hole right there, it's going to go right here. Instead of here, it's going to go through here to hold that up. We did not tack that. Why? Because in case we need to remove the subframe at all for any reason, we can do that. It's not held in place like forever. So we got all that done. Now what we're going to do is we're working on the dash setup. So my theory is that once I get the dash in, then I can start doing all the wiring harness and all that other stuff. So what I did is I ended up putting the dash in, and I used the original Del Sol brackets, right? Which are these right here. These are the original Del Sol brackets. And so what I did is I just drilled a hole on the side, drilled right there for the bottom ones. The two bottom ones, as you can see. The two bottom ones just are drilled in. And for the top ones, what we did, because as you can see, there's a space right there at the top. What we did is we marked the hole. We marked the hole right where it needed to be, and then we drilled all the way through. And we ended up putting a rod through, and we welded it, whatever you want to do, weld it in place. Because now the Del Sol bracket is right where it needs to be. If you ever need to remove the dash, you can just unbolt it and it'll come right out. Now your brackets are in place where they need to be. Here I'm kind of like sitting in the driver's seat, as you can see, and I mean, steering's going to be perfect. It's going to be right here. So that's perfect. Here, I'll get out and I'll show you a view from the back. Here's our view from the back, right? So what I had to do as well is I had to remove the door panels because they wouldn't shut. But now it does. And so what I'm thinking I'm going to do is I'm just going to sheet metal the whole door. That way it's one complete door. If not, I'll probably I don't know if I want to use the Del Sol door panels just because it's automatic and I want to stay with the manual setup that it has right here for the windows. Other than that, I mean, the brackets are in, our dash is in. It's starting to look a little better right now, starting to look like a car. I did mock up our gas tank. So here's our gas tank. The gas tank fits in perfectly right here, as you guys can see. It cuts over a little bit over this way. Not too much, but it fits perfect. So my thought is, instead of the filler neck being right over here, which is going to be hard as hell to get to, I don't want to put like an elbow and another elbow. I kind of want to use the original filler neck and the original gas cap that came with the car. So what I'm thinking I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and just turn it 180 degrees and have that filler neck pretty much sitting right here in this corner. And that'll be our gas tank. And then like I said, it'll be way easier because now we don't have to figure out running lines from here to there. We could pretty much use the original lines that came through the firewall all the way to the back, and then that's pretty much our fuel setup. Also, we need to do a brake setup. That's kind of going to be in the last thing because I do want to pull the suspension off, redo it all, paint it up, do it all nice. I'm not going to leave it just all rusted and old and looking like shit. So I mean, we're getting there. We're almost to the point where we can start getting ready to sheet metal everything inside and then drop the motor in. But like I said, I'm going to do the wiring. I'm going to do everything first before I go dropping the motor in. Why? Because that way everything's pretty much how it needs to be, and then I can just focus on one end of the car at a time. It makes stuff a lot easier that way than trying to move from the front to the back to the front to the back to the front to the back. Just focus on part of the car at a time, makes it life easier, and then you focus on another part, and then you can focus on another part. So like a three trials. You do it's 3 points at a time. Other than that, guys, I mean, like I mentioned to you before, the front is blown, so they will be coming down. It will be coming down. It'll be nice and level at the end. I mean, we're almost there, guys, so just hang in there and wait for the next video. Alright, guys, so from last video to now, I have we talked about the Del Sol bracketing, or any type of bracketing that you want to do for your type of dash. I did it the way I did it, just because this is what I have on hand, and this is kind of what my passions are as a car, so I'm going to use it in this car. So from yesterday, you guys saw that we tacked in the brackets. Now, I added these spacers at the bottom, so that way when our screw goes through and our rib nut's in place, it's going to be able to be nice and secure. It's not going to be pulling the bracket to one side. Like, here's a shot straight down, as you can see. I mean, it's in there. Here, I'll grab it, and I can wiggle the fuck out of it, and it doesn't move. So, our brackets are in. I did the same thing to this side. I did the same thing over here, guys, kind of with this one. I might need to cut this one down at a little bit of an angle so it's sitting nice and flush, but you guys get the point now. The dash is in, like you can't even, it doesn't even move anymore. So on top of that, I started doing a mock-up of the wiring harness, of how it's going to go and everything. So I kind of got it in place of where I want it to go, how it's going to go, and I'll give you guys a little bit of a closer look. So we're going to start off from the driver's side, and the driver's side, why we're starting off this side is because we have the fuse box that we need to accommodate for, because you can't, I mean, you can put this in a different position, but you're going to be struggling with a whole bunch of wires and plugs you need to extend. So number one, what my thoughts and theory is I'm going to place that where it goes, OEM style, so that way I can begin from at that point and then move forward to adjusting or not doing what I need to do to make my harness fall into place. So that's pretty much like a starting point, is how we're going to look at that. So our starting point is there. We can utilize the original bracket that it came with the harness, with the bracketing that I used for the dash. So that's where that's going to stay. I pretty much have all the plugs, and like I said, I made this super easy on myself because I'm using the same harness that was in that car, the white one, and I'm using it in this car. So everything is pretty much going to be like a plug-and-play situation, and then that's why I did it the way I did it. Now, that's why I'm explaining to you guys, and that's why I'm doing these tutorials, to show you how easy you can do it at your house if you just put your mind to it and really want to get it done. I mean, anybody can do anything, but the thing is, you got to have determination, willpower, and you actually got to see it through. You can't just think about it, sit on your couch and say, oh man, next morning it's going to poof up here. No, it's not. So realistically, this is how we do it. Because yes, you can buy harnesses and all that, but I'm doing it so that way I'm saving money, and I'm showing you guys how in the future you can save money by just thinking things through a tad bit. Don't throw everything away. Stuff can be used again for other things. I have stuff laying around that's 4 years old, and you know what? One day I use it, so that's why I don't throw it away. So here we go. We're going to continue on we have the original harness, so we're going to fly it down this way. And now you guys can see I left the plastic. Now this goes around where the pedal assembly is, so we're going to leave that there. I mean, I'm going to remove it, but I mean, it's coming down this way, right? We're going to go follow it along, and then right now, right here is where our plugs from our ECU is going to go. So our ECU is going to sit right behind the driver's seat. Right behind the driver's seat. We're going to go move along, and this right here is the grommet that would go outside to the engine bay to start off the harness that's going to be connected out there. So we're going to move along. We're going to keep the outside fuse box inside of the car as well, so that's going to go behind the passenger seat. Then we can just sling over the harness through our firewall that we're going to build right here, because you guys got to keep in mind our firewall that's going to go right here, all right here, that's going to have the Del Sol mechanism in it for the back window like I talked about before. So we are going to have a firewall. I mean, it's not done, but we're laying things in place to get going. So we're just going to toss this over through our firewall. That way our connections for our harness to our motor is right there. We're going to continue along, and this is pretty much the light harness, for the lights and whatnot. So we're going to just weasel that through our firewall as well. Now, I'm wondering if we're going to use the lights on a switch, so that way we can just run wires from light to light to a relay and then put it on a switch, so we're not turning the back lights on thinking it's the front and turning the front on thinking it's the back. So I'm still thinking about that. Now we're going to come around this way, and the plug that would go from this side of the door all the way back to our fuel tank, right, on a Del Sol. It's a long strip, goes all the way down here. It has a plug. This is the plug for it right here, as a matter of fact. Right here, this is the plug for it. It's going to run all the way down across behind the pedal assembly, all the way over, because now we have our spot for our gas tank, right? And this, look how long this is, right? Look how long this is. Exactly. So that's going to be fed through our firewall, and that's going to go straight to our gas tank. You see how easy that is? See how easy we're making things already? That's going to go right to our gas tank, so that's kind of where we want it, because our gas tank, our filler neck, everything is going to be through there in the front. So we're going to come, excuse me, we're going to come along, sorry, I had to get that out. We're going to come along the side right here, and then this is going to continue on all the way to the back. It's going to continue on all the way to the back, which this is actually our rear lights, right? These are the wires that would go to our rear lights in the trunk of a Del Sol, right? We're going to follow these all the way down. And see, I don't have a problem extending these bunch of wires, but I have a problem extending these bunch of wires. You see how much less work we have now? So we can extend these, which would be our brake lights, runs all the way down, kind of behind where we're going to sheet metal, all the way back, all the way back, all the way back, still continued all the way to there. So we really only have to, if we wanted to, only wire in one brake light. We just got to extend those wires, and then pretty much our wiring is complete. So you guys see how easy that is if you just think it through a little bit longer. If you guys have problems, or I mean, whatever the case may be, you can always ask me for help. I always help out people. I always help out friends. I got nothing against that. Only thing what I have against is people putting other people down because they don't truly know what those people can do, and it either scares them or whatever the fuck the case may be, you know what I mean? They get all jealous and shit, butthurt, but, I mean, it's one easy way to prove them wrong, right? So, you guys see how our wiring's going to go. I'm going to get a shot for you from the back. so you can kind of get a look as well. Like I said, I have the cluster inside, and I kind of want to show you guys what it looks like with center console put in place, but I'll do that in another video. Don't worry about that. So I mean, that's pretty much for this video, guys. Subscribe and follow along, and I mean, hit me up. You guys can always hit me up on Facebook on Hptuneing, Tuneing, or my Facebook page, or even through YouTube. So there you guys go. Here's a little view for you guys, and just hang in there. We're almost there, guys. We're almost there.